What I've realized, Kansans and folks in the Midwest like to talk to people, like to talk to a live person. So you can
Very
send them to
true.
websites, you send them to websites, you send them to the app, you do all that. That's great. But a lot of people like to talk to a live person. And
Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Toll Talk. I'm one of your hosts, Kaylee Jakovics, and with me today, filling in for Alex, I have Karen Herford. Karen, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen Herford with Mojo Digital Creative. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, pleasure to have you. And we have a very special guest, Steve Hewitt, the CEO of Kansas Turnpike Authority. Steve, thanks so much for joining us today.
Welcome.
absolutely, I'm excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, excited to have you. I know you're a busy man, so we really appreciate it and excited to learn a little bit more about you, about KTA. Of course, Mojo knows a lot about KTA, but our viewers, I'm sure they're interested in hearing more. So we typically like to start with, learning a little bit more about you and kind of where you're located. What do you like to do for fun? You want to share any of your interests or family with us?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity to kind of talk about what we're doing here at KTA, as well as, well, talk about myself, I guess, or let people learn about me.
Yeah, please.
So yeah, so which I'm about to hit. I just did hit 10 years as CEO for the Kansas Turnpike. 10 and a
Congratulations.
half total years, but 10 years as CEO this January. So I'm excited. It's been a fun ride, and I think it's only just begun. We've got more stuff to do. But yeah, so my background is really I've been in public government my entire career. I actually started in Parks and Rec, so I wanted to do something
Mm.
fun. So play sports, do all the fun stuff. I became a city manager. I jumped into that, and from city manager, kind of evolved and got lucky with some connections to get to be part of the Kansas Turnpike when they made some changes about 10 years ago. So here we are. People always, what do I do for fun? Well, I do a lot of chasing my kid around, and so he's a freshman in college. He plays JUCO baseball, and if you know anything about JUCO sports, they own those kids. So
Oh my
him
gosh.
around watching him play baseball has always been fun for me in high school and growing up. And so I'm trying to catch all his games either online or in person. So that keeps us hopping pretty good. The other thing I think people will probably be shocked about is that I'm also in a rock band. So
What?
Really?
I'm a singer in a cover band,
No, you're
kind of 90s
not.
rock band. So if you
Ah,
guys like Pearl Jam, Stone Temple
Yes.
Pilots, Collective Soul,
yep, absolutely.
my band does that. So on the weekends, when I'm not chasing my kid at some game, we're playing some bar and around Kansas, doing it,
That is
doing that and having a good
super
time.
fun. What's the
That-
name of your band? Are there
The band,
videos on YouTube?
yeah, the band is called Whiskey South 40. Some people they think
I'm
it sounds
writing
like a
that
country
down.
band, but it's a rock band, and so we'll play a lot of 90s rock, some 2000 rock. We'll toss in some 80s, but it's rock and roll, and we have a good time doing it.
Oh,
That's
I've
fantastic.
had no idea, and that is a really cool fun fact. That is amazing. And you, I guess, kind of, when did you get into tolling? I know you've been with Kansas for 10 years now, and you talked a little bit about your background, but did you ever think that you would be in the tolling and transportation space?
Yeah, really, I never did think I'd really dive into actual, transportation as a DOT or a turnpike.
Hmm.
Being in municipal government, obviously, you make a lot of connections, engineers, politicians, different, administration folks that are in the state level or something. And when there was a change, being a city manager, I was actually at that time a city manager in Oklahoma. I grew up in Kansas. I'm from Kansas, but I'd gone to Oklahoma to be a city manager. I'd been down there about 3+ years, and the Secretary of Transportation, who that's a position on our board of directors, called me and asked, "Hey, we knew each other through a mutual friend. The At that time, the CEO was going to resign and retire, and just asked my interest, and it was really intriguing. And the number one thing, I love getting back to Kansas because that's where my family's at and my wife's family.
Hmm.
And then when I did a little research, I always knew the turnpike, but really all
Right.
the ins and outs of the turnpike. I hadn't really dove into that. When I did do that, and the stability, strength, the importance of what and how many people we help in our state to be successful, I was really intrigued by that, and so I was ready to jump on that, and so came in. I did a little 6 month transition, kind of in the operations to learn about KTA, and then the board made me CEO in January of 14, and here we are in I'm sorry, I came in July of 14. I became CEO in January of 15, and here we are in January 25. That's the 10 years. I can do the math,
Gotcha.
obviously.
Well done.
So easy for me to say, right? So but it's really been a fun journey. Work with great people, and I feel like we're doing something good for our state. So that's kind of how I got lucky enough, and I really pure luck. It's sometimes you continue to make connections and work with people, and but it's a good fit. I would just let everybody know as a city manager in municipal government, you had utilities and the different things, the functions of municipal government. We run like a government. I mean, we
Yeah.
have finance and HR and public works, and we do our projects and got to pay the bills, and we take in revenue like city utilities do. So it's a very similar aspect. It's government financing. It's a public aspect. We're obviously a public entity in the state. So it runs just like a city, and I think
Yeah.
it was a good fit for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that kind of leads into my next question of, for those of you, for the viewers that may not be familiar with KTA, can you explain a little bit about who you guys are and what you do?
Yeah, so I mean, to a lot of turnpikes, we're small potatoes. I mean, we're in a small rural state, but really important to our state. So we have about 236 miles. We run from the Oklahoma border, which is I-35, and then we go all the way north into I-70, all the way into Kansas City. So we'll go through all the big metroplexes for Kansas: Wichita, Topeka, Lawrence, into Kansas City. Early 50s we were created, and we service about 40 million different customers each year, travelers on our roadway. So it's really important, and big freight corridor for Kansas is the Kansas Turnpike. Being such a long stretch, a lot of our traffic comes from out of state, freight as well as travelers. We don't have the mountains and beaches in Kansas, so we get a lot of folks that drive through us,
Right.
unfortunately. So about half our traffic comes from out of state. But yeah, 236 miles. My main facility headquarters is in Wichita. I live in Wichita, Kansas. Our secondary location, which I built a recent new facility in Topeka, so we house our engineers, our legal team, and we have a call center in Topeka. We have a call center in Lawrence as well. We got maintenance facilities up and down the turnpike, 8 different maintenance facilities. We have 5 different service areas for our travelers. Pretty long stretch, but it's been this way since 1956, and we're on our own. What's unique
Yep.
about us? Well, maybe not unique. I think folks in the turnpike industry understand this, in the toll industry, but we're independent from a standpoint. We don't take state funding, federal funding. We live and die by the tolls we bring in. We're on our own. It's nice to talk to legislators, and we don't need anything from you. We're just here to help you. So we're a big help to KDOT and
Yep.
to the legislature. We have a tradition of keeping low tolls and a good system, and been that way since the early 50s, and our goal is to keep it that way,
Yeah.
and so, but that's our little system, and we're proud of it, and that's Kansas for
Yeah.
you.
He sounds so passionate, doesn't
I
he?
know.
Steve, give me an idea. What really inspires you most about working in the transportation sector?
Well, as I kind of mentioned earlier, what I think what's really exciting, that really excited me to the position, is that I'm able to do more, make a difference to more people in Kansas. And end of the day, I'm a public servant. I really do, and I enjoyed being a city manager. I enjoyed doing Parks and Rec back in the day, but I really enjoy this because I help more people, and we're so important to our state. I really want to make sure that we're doing the right thing, and helping everybody. And I take it. I am pretty passionate about it, and it's a fun gig. Great people work here, great tradition, great longevity with so many different people. We've got about 320 people that work for us, and I tell you what, just great people. and they all have that pride of making sure we got a good, safe, reliable system for customers. And I just helping more people is really exciting. That's why I took the gig, and that's why I'm still here. And I'm excited to
Yeah.
hope 10 more years. That's my goal.
And you've been having quite an impact, it sounds like, over those last 10 years.
We've done a lot of it. Listen, we've made some major improvements. I mean, I need the sexy items. Obviously, we went to open road tolling, then now recently to cashless tolling. We can talk about that more in detail. But we've also done a tremendous amount of safety improvements and infrastructure improvements. We spent about $1 billion, and for our small system, that is a tremendous amount of investment.
Yep.
We cash flowed it all. We didn't take any new debt. We For the last 10 years, we've been really focused on improving our system, from drainage, raising bridges, curves, pavement, you name it. We've been putting money into our system, the customer experience, the safety experience, and we're not done yet. We're continuing to assess our efforts and make sure we're providing the best system we can. But yeah, we've done a lot the last 10 years. I couldn't be more proud of our team and our efforts and our results, to able to be such a strong fiscal organization, do so many great projects, to help our customers, make it safe, reliable, and the experience is so much better. And I'm really proud of what we've done so far.
Yeah, I mean, we know you're passionate. To comment before on the previous part of the conversation on your team, I feel like, and I've met a lot of people from your team, I feel like every single person that I've met is super passionate. They're dedicated. And then, at KTA as a whole, you guys are really kind of always ahead of the curve in, trying to stay up on technologies and certain innovations, and just making it the best for the customer, for the driver. So it's really cool to see that.
I love
Yeah,
how
I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, and on that, and I appreciate you saying we're cutting edge. I don't know. I wouldn't say necessarily we're cutting edge. I mean, what I do think we try to do, and I think we're fairly conservative, but when you have a proven technology and a proven system that works, we've not been shy to dive into that. And I
Right.
think we've tried to learn from others. I don't necessarily want us to be the guinea pig or the test case. But nor are we afraid to go that direction once we know things are proven, they're safe, they're good, they're helpful to customers, or more innovative. We have definitely done that. I think we're open to listen and learn, and I think we've learned a lot from a lot of other agencies, and that's exciting. But we are fairly conservative. I don't want to say we're the first
Right,
person
right.
to dive into something, but I think we've not been afraid to do it either, and I
You're
think that's what's nice
strategic.
about our folks.
You're very strategic.
Strategic, because change is hard. We don't want to change just for the sake of change here. We want to make change because it's going to improve our system and improve the experience to customers and our staff. And I think our staff has always bought into that. Hey, we explain it to them and talk to our customers, get some feedback, then we've been able to make those changes. But I think it's I do appreciate you saying that. I mean, I do think we're not shy to take chances, but I think take calculated, strategic chances that have been paying off for us.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like a health. It's like right in the middle where you need to be, where it's kind of balancing, and you do both. Both. So I want to talk about cashless tolling. I know we touched on that briefly, but it rolled out in July. Is that correct?
Yeah, July 1st, we went live.
Okay, yep. So how has that been now that there's cashless tolling? What challenges have you seen? What successes have you guys encountered?
Well, first of all, I would say it has been a success. I mean, with any major, it's the single biggest project we've taken on for almost 70 years. I mean, this is the single biggest project. We spent about $100 million when it's all said and done. And so overall, it's gone very well. I mean, with any new project like this, you're going to run into some glitches, and I know every toll system out there is going to have its own unique challenges or particulars that they have to work around, and we've run into that. One thing, we kind of did a rebranding, and the technology's been working great. The marketing, the effort, the communication. We do customer surveys. We just wrapped up a customer survey, and 90% of our customers love cashless tolling. But it doesn't come without sometimes a little bit of pain, and we knew
Right.
that was going to be the case. And so just to talk about that, And one thing is like our call center, although we listen to experts and consultants and other industry folks to say we thought we had enough of our call center ready to go, it just bombarded us and it just hammered us hard.
Oh
And we're
no.
just now digging out of that a little bit after 6 months, really figuring it out. And that was been a little bit of a pain point, but we've invested in third party help and adding more folks and expanding our call centers and hours. We're adding more technology, to the call center to make it better and smoother experience for the customer. It's just, and what I didn't realize is existing customers that were like our K-tag, our transponder customers, their life didn't really change much. They just keep on driving, right?
Right.
But they saw this new brand, and it looked a little different. You're going from trips to transactions, and everything looks a little different. So I want to call in, and what I've realized, Kansans and folks in the Midwest like to talk to people, like to talk to a live person. So you can
Very
send them to
true.
websites, you send them to websites, you send them to the app, you do all that. That's great. But a lot of people like to talk to a live person, and oh my gosh, okay. So we've had to really beef that effort up. So that's been one pain point. We're finally getting that relief now. But and listen, I mean, we're very flexible, so nothing is overwhelmed us to a point that we can't deal with it. We just had to deal with it, and we just had to make adjustments. And I think that's what I like about us. We've always been willing to make those adjustments as needed. Our board's great, our staff's great. Everybody, our customers are understanding. 90% of them love you, and I think that's great. And I couldn't believe those numbers already. But it's a 10%. I wish I could get 100%. Right? I probably never will get that, but we're here to make adjustments. But that's been one pain point. It's just the lessons learned, right?
Right.
We learned a lot from other agencies, but everything's unique to your own individual organization. We've had some of that, and I think we're getting through it. But nevertheless, I've been very pleased with it, and I'm happy, and we're only going to get better from here. That's the good thing, and I'm excited. We get to, by the time we get to that first year, I think we'll have a lot of things worked out. Again, adding technology efforts with our call center, with our website, different things that make it easier for everybody. I think it's coming along pretty good, and I'm excited about where we go from here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, when you roll something out new, it's always going to have its challenges or bumps in the road, minor things. But
Growing pains.
you guys got to adapt and learn, and it seems like it's been successful. So
I think you said it right. Growing pains. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just what we're going through, right?
Yeah.
But the good thing, I think we're able to manage it, and to commit to our customers. We have managed it, and we've been making improvements, and we'll keep doing that.
Yeah, and I totally agree what you said about the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest originally. I'm in Maryland now, but it's a unique, wonderful type of people out there in the Midwest, which I love, and they always want to talk to people. And when I moved to Maryland, everyone was like, "You're not from around here." I'm like, "Why do you say that?" They're like, "You talk so much. You're so nice." Like, I'm like, "Okay, that's kind of funny." But yeah, it's not. I like to tell my colleagues and clients connections that it's not about, you may want to make sure that you don't discriminate against the way that they communicate with you, that the customer communicates with you, whether it's a phone call, it's a text, it's an email, it's a chat bot, whatever it may be for the customer. So you kind of said it very well.
Steve,
Yeah, you just got to have. I think you have to have all the above, right?
Right.
To catch whatever customer that's going to come to you and ask you questions, you've got something to help them. Then we all know it works. My son, he doesn't want to talk to anybody. He wants to chat with somebody or do it online. And I might be more like the traditional. I'm Gen X, so hey, can you help me, madam and
Right.
sir? You help me out. And I think so. We want to make sure we've got all those covered. And I think we just had to add some folks, and we're doing that. And I think we've covered some of that. But it's just, listen, any new project, like you said, growing pains, and we've gone through them, and we'll keep making adjustments and making it better. And I'm just real pleased where it's at today, though.
Well, it sounds like you're adapting well. I mean, if 90% of your clients are really taking to it, then you're in the right direction.
Yeah, so I think number one, the driving experience is second to none, right? So I don't have toll booths and areas slowing me down. The experience is much better. So those, and we surveyed people left and right prior to ever going to this, when we finally pulled the trigger 5 years ago to say, hey, let's do it. And they all wanted Cashless towing. They've been to other locations around the country. And so those people get it. I just think it's those folks that when their bill looks a little different, and number one, but I do appreciate them. They're looking at their bill. Some people don't even look at their bill. They just like pay it and go on. But folks are paying attention. Hey, it looks a little different. And so they want to call in and verify it. And then in this day and age, there's things like scams and different things that are out there, and they just want
Yeah.
to make sure this is legit and because it looks a little different. And I get it, and we want to accommodate those concerns or even questions. And so it's just the flexibility. But yeah, I am pleased with customers. The feedback is good. You have anomalies out there. Listen, we love no customers that had any bad feedback. But what I do want to take is their feedback and turn it into positive, outcomes. And so whatever it is, can we learn from that, that issue, from a standpoint of, listen, my tag didn't read, or it's not my address, or this is not me, or this looks different. I don't understand trips versus transaction, whatever the question may be. Sure. I just want to make sure we learn from that, so that feedback we're providing through our ongoing communication, we can deliver that. So maybe we can offset some of those concerns going forward.
Yeah, I can say not that I am using your roadway because I'm in Maryland, but whenever I have to, call in about my Easy Pass, or, my tag was captured wrong, or whatever the scenario is, it's like, as the customer, it's like a little stressful, like, oh, how's it going to go? Like, are they going to answer my question? So I always feel good, like, getting off the phone, and they're super helpful, and I have that good customer experience. So it seems like, I know that you guys are doing that. So
Yeah, you know how it is. It's if you have to stay on hold forever, it just makes you mad, right?
or the prompts, and I'm like, can I just talk to a person, please? Especially being from the Midwest.
And so we're working on things like our callback efforts and different little things like that, which we didn't quite have that system up and ready to go when we went live, but little things like that. Add some call center, customer service reps, but I get it. They're frustrated because I've been on hold for 20, 30 minutes, or I can't even get in because lines are full. Those are frustrating.
Yeah.
And I feel the pain. I don't like it either when I'm trying to call my cable company or whatever I'm doing, and I can't get through. I'm frustrated. So, lessons learned. We can talk about that till we're blue in the face, but I am very pleased with our efforts and where it's going, and it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah. And whether it's, cashless tolling or, something new that you guys are rolling out, how are you communicating it to the drivers, to the community, to the public?
Yeah, we have a very robust communication plan. We really have been out and about. We did a tremendous amount of, community to community, face to face, all the different local locations you can imagine. I mean, we try to get to every festival, every location, every civic group, you name it. I had ambassadors. If you were an employee and an ambassador, could you talk about this? You needed to be out somewhere to help us, as well as the ongoing local media, social media, billboards, just a constant radio, television. We just have, to me, we call it a blitz. Just blitz the airways and everywhere to try to communicate.
I like
and we'll
that.
continue that, You can't stop getting the information out there. And so we wanted to drive them to those places that hopefully answer those questions prior to calling in, prior to us going live. And now we are going live. We've not stopped that effort. We continue to try to push forward, communicate, market our efforts. That won't stop. I mean, and it's not just one direction. It's more like a shotgun effect. We've got to hit everything because customers come from everywhere. And one of our biggest challenges, I'll just tell you, being the fact that half our traffic comes from out of state, and not every one of those states is compatible with the K tag. So, a lot of folks don't have a toll pass or a transponder of any kind. So they're getting that bill in the mail, or they didn't even realize they were on a turnpike. And then there's a uniqueness of that we're an interstate, and so you go from like coming from Oklahoma. You come from Oklahoma, I-35, there's not a turnpike, and then all of a sudden you reach 35 in Kansas, there's a turnpike, and now with cashless tolling, you may not, people they don't pay attention to signs anymore,
right.
And so they don't even realize it. So it's an ongoing education. So then those folks get a bill in the mail. So again, it's just this ongoing effort. We put more signage out on the roadway than we are required to put out there, but we put more of it out there. We'll continue to We've done geofencing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You name it, I'm forgetting some, but I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Working in marketing, I
Really,
love hearing this. So
Absolutely.
it's
we've
always about
tried to
the multi-channel.
blitz,
Yeah.
just hammer the airwaves with information, so people knew how to pay, what this was about, that you were
Hmm.
on a toll road and how it works, and so and that didn't stop. We'll keep doing it from here on out.
Yeah.
I love
It-
hearing how proactive he is, and well, not just him, but KTA as a whole. I know that we kind of touched on the customer service aspect of things. What would you say, Steve, are some kind of expected long-term financial benefits that KTA and will have for its users?
Yeah, so number one, we have a reputation of having some of the lowest tolls in the country, and that's because we have an existing older turnpike, and built in the 50s, and we wanted to keep it. We didn't want to turn into a system. Our board was very clear. They're very conservative when it comes to setting toll rates. We didn't want to change this system and then all of a sudden have to triple or quadruple toll rates overnight just to pay for this.
right.
And so, but we invested it. We saved our money. We were a good financial position to cash flow the project. And then what we did know is now the efficiencies that cashless tolling brings us long term will allow us to maintain low tolls and have our operations be at a certain place where we don't have to just, when we look at toll increases, we want to target it based on the fact that we may have a project or there's a need for it, not just for, we don't do regular toll increases. We do a zero-based budgeting effort. We look year after year, what do we need to do to pay for those tolls? How's traffic look? And everything and all the above, what projects we want to do. We need to bond something. Can we cash flow it? We look at everything, and we start from zero and go from there. And the board is very conscious of the fact that we're an affordable state. We want to maintain affordable tolls. And so we had to really do the math. We had to really do the economics and look at this. But what the economics show us that long term, the efficiency of cashless tolling, the infrastructure in the toll lane, the capital, the human capital that was in the toll lane, long term, as those go away, we get very efficient, and technology allows us to get more efficient, and we pass that savings on to the customer to keep those low toll rates. And so we're very excited about that. Investment up front, a lot of money, $100 million for Kansas Turnpike is a lot of money,
Right.
but long term, our operational costs will be able to keep those tolls down and affordable for our customers.
Yeah, I love that you're taking those measures to make sure that it can stay affordable, because you can see in like a lot of neighboring places and throughout the United States that they're increasing tremendously. So that's good to hear. And I actually had a question pop into my head just because I just don't know, and I'm curious. If someone does get on the turnpike without having the K tag, right? And now it's cashless tolling. Are they sent in the mail? Just, is it a violation, or is it just a fee for the toll?
Yeah, great question. So no longer violation. So when you had our open road system,
Okay.
yeah, we wanted you to go over to the toll booth, and if you didn't, then you'd be a violator. You shouldn't have been over there. Now you're just a customer.
Okay.
But
Good to
the
know.
difference, as everybody knows, the difference is the differential in transponder rate versus non-transponder
Right.
rate. So you got a transponder rate. We have some of the lowest tolls, if not the lowest transponder rates for, in the country now. But if you don't, it's going to be doubled.
Right.
And it's still super low
Yeah,
compared
still
to
not much.
locations. Still not much.
Yeah.
But we do want to drive folks to the transponder if you don't have one. Now we know some folks, some customers will not live in states, and they don't need a transponder. They're just going to pay it and go on. But we definitely want our folks here in Kansas and our states around us to understand. I think that's a good philosophy to try to have that differential. And number one, it costs us more. The cost to collect, right? So you have to look them up, find out who they are, send them a bill, and wait for them to pay. So that drives the cost up anyway, right? And so
Yeah.
if you have that transponder and I've got that account system already, and I've got your information, I'm going to pass that savings on to you as a customer. So I think that's the message we send. But not a violator. You're just a customer. You're just a different rate
Love
of a
it.
customer.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's good. I asked because I went through recently, and I got sent a violation, and I didn't realize I didn't have the tag. The tag. Not with you guys, obviously, but another state. So I was just like, what? I didn't know this.
Didn't even know.
So interesting. Another question that has popped into my mind, and maybe there's not a lot of challenges with it, but just because it's Kansas, and I'm thinking about like the winter storms and icy roads, and then also even potential like tornadoes and weather. I mean, is there a lot that you have to deal with there?
Well, listen, Kansas is Kansas. So the joke in Kansas is you want to know when the weather's going to change, wait 5 minutes. So
Okay. Anywhere in the Midwest, basically.
anyway, yeah, really anywhere in the Midwest, right? So here we are today, and I know when this is going to be released, it's a little bit after when we did this, but I'm dealing with we had a major snowstorm hit us this week over the New Year's. And so record of snow hit in the Kansas City area, and it blanketed all our roadway. And so we had maintenance crews out 24/7 for multiple days trying to get this cleaned off. Yeah, it creates. I mean, we have challenges with weather. I mean, weather in Kansas is what it is.
Right.
It's Kansas, and I think Kansans understand that if you're traveling, it is what it is. And so we have a reputation of getting our road clean and having it in a really good condition. And we actually have a reputation where people say, "Hey, if you're going to take a trip, be on the turnpike because it's safer than some of those Kansas
Right.
state roads because someone's going to be there to help you." We have a lot of troopers out. We have dedicated troops that police our facility, help out. We've got our own safety assist folks that are out. Our maintenance crews are out. But yeah, listen, winter is a challenge. Thunderstorms, tornadoes are tornadoes. I mean, I think we have those in Kansas, but I mean, I don't,
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if they're doing damage to like the roadway or anything, but
No, but one of the things is weather is really providing the information to the traveler, right? It's not just the fact that we want our roads safe, it's making sure travelers understand what they're going into. So we have DMS signs and digital boards out and letting people know, and we have text alerts and different things. So yeah, we don't want you to go into a thunderstorm or go into a tornado. We don't want you to
right.
do a blizzard unless you know what possibilities are out there. If it's you're going into 20 inches of snow, you need to know that it's going to be a challenge. We don't want you to travel in that, but if you have to, be aware of it. So it's communicating with our public all the time. We have a reputation of having a really good system and have it cleaned and ready ready to go in wintertime. And we do a real good job of getting our staff out, and we have a robust maintenance crews up and down the turnpike. And so, and I think here's my philosophy. Everybody's a customer, and you pay a premium to be in our system. So you didn't have to come in our system. You could have gone a state route or a county route or city route or something and avoided tolls, but you decided to pay a toll. So I think the product should meet that cost. And so we want to offer you a premium product for the fact that you're paying for it. And so we go above and beyond to make sure our roadway is safe, reliable, and a good experience for you. But yeah, weather is something we deal with in the Midwest, and I don't sweat it too much because I think we get a bit immune to it from a standpoint because we're used to it in Kansas. But we have a lot of travelers from all over the country that are not used to it, so we have to make sure we're doing our due diligence on communicating that to them, as well as getting out and keeping the road clear and safe for them to travel.
Yeah, I love the way that you put that with, it really like kind of like a premium customer, if you will. I never thought about that, but thanks for keeping your roads as safe as possible and, updating people as needed. I did see a lot on the news about that storm that hit with the snow and the ice, and it looked really scary. And I thought about you guys. So
You didn't want to be out in it.
yeah,
but,
no.
But if you were, I mean, we had crews out, and that we need to have crews out, and that's one thing it's a reputation we have. We want to maintain that high reputation of helping folks and making sure you're getting safe to your location you need to get to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steve, I'd love to switch gears. I'm big into technology and innovation. Can you give me an idea? I mean, besides cashless tolling, what technology advancements is KTA exploring to really enhance the driver experience and operational efficiencies?
Yeah. So listen, I go back to kind of what I said earlier. I mean, we're pretty conservative, so we're not going to have a knee-jerk reaction when it comes to technology that's still being proven and still trying to be, worked through. And so, we're obviously not the first agency to go to cashless, by no means, obviously. It was a big deal for us. But listen, we're paying attention to what industry standards are looking like and where things are going in technology. People talk about smart roads and way of technology can help the experience of the traveler. Obviously, autonomous vehicles and different things are out there. And so we work closely with DOT. We work closely with, obviously, IBTA folks and different committees. We want to pay attention to what's out there, what works, and what we need to recommend, and what changes we may need to add or infrastructure we may need to look at in the future. So as for any set technology you can expect from us, there's nothing set in stone right now that we say, hey, by this date, you're going to see us add this or do this, but we're prepared and we'll look towards the future as something. What does the customer need, and how can we enhance things, as well as where is society going, right? And is society really going in a direction that we need to catch up? We've added a lot of like charging stations and different things. And listen, I think we see minimal, like single digit percentage of electric vehicles on our roadway, but we wanted to make sure we had charging stations for them. We didn't want to be stranded, and we want you to travel on us. We pay attention to what's happening with autonomous vehicle. We want to pay attention to what's happening in technology and platooning and different things in the freight industry. We want to pay attention so that rules, regs, recommendations, the technology that we think we need to add. One thing we've tried to be, we're adding truck parking efforts to communicate to our commercial customers that's a safe location. We have spots for you. That's becoming an issue in the Midwest with freight. But nothing's necessarily playing right now when it comes to major technology changes. But we're paying attention. We're included. We're involved. We're engaged, and with our partners. And we'll continue to see where things go. And when it makes sense, we'll see if we can do it, and we'll make the recommendation to our board, and we'll make some infrastructure changes. But right now we're still in exploration time, right?
Yes.
It's still learning and seeing what makes sense. And we're unique. I mean, listen, we're more of a rural toll road. Obviously, like I said, 236 miles. What works in in the cities versus the rural parts. It's just different, and so we have to understand that too. And obviously we have a lot of travelers for us, but compared to big metroplexes, I mean, we're small potatoes. So what's the customer need? And we have to look at that and what makes sense. And so I think from that conservative standpoint, we'll be prepared to make some adjustments in the future when it comes to technology. But nothing is planned right now that I would be able to tell you that, hey, you can look for the next 2 years this, or 3 years this, or even 5 years. We just don't have it set in stone yet. Although strategically, we'll keep looking forward, but nothing set in stone just yet.
Yeah, gotcha. You did mention IBTTA, and our episode is going to go live in March, and we have the Tech Summit coming up. So I wanted to hear a little bit about you, like your involvement or your team's involvement with IBTTA. Are you guys going to the Tech Summit this year?
Well, number one, absolutely. So all our departments are very active in IBTTA, and we have really, obviously, it feels like we've kind of turned into a tech company in a way, with cashless tolling and our evolution and what we do, very IT driven, right? It's the industry, because everything through the IT efforts it allows us to get that customer's needs met and do what we need to do when it comes to satisfying our customers and delivering what we need to deliver, from the tolls to the information, to the how we bill them, everything. It doesn't matter. It's all kind of IT driven. So, but I know that takes on a much larger scale of how things are going, and obviously, where does industry go in the future? And we don't want to be behind. So we are very involved with IBTTA. I've got a number of folks on committees. I'll send a number of folks to the tech conference for sure, and be a part of that. I couldn't be more pleased with our folks are very engaged with IBTTA.
They really are.
Nothing better than learning from peers, right? I don't want to try to have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
We want to learn lessons learned from others and what the technologies they've tried. And when I talk about we're conservative, I love it that other people are trying some of those cool things. They can tell me how it works and tell me the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts, and I want to hear that, right?
Yeah,
Maybe we can eventually do that.
Yeah.
So we'll stay engaged, and we'll have folks that and every one of those conferences coming up. From the matter if it's a finance conference or a maintenance conference or whatever it is, we're going to make sure we have folks involved and working with. We love what IBTTA brings us all together, networking and learning from each other. And I couldn't be a bigger advocate for that.
Yeah, same here. And throughout our conversation today, when you were talking about, just being conservative, I was thinking of, how involved you guys are with IBTTA and learning about the technologies and things, and maybe not implementing them right away, but your team is just kind of like gathering all the information and using it as a tool that you could potentially use in the future to make you better. So
absolutely,
yeah.
That's exactly what we want to do.
Yeah, love it.
I don't want to be the one. I don't necessarily have to be the one in front. I want to learn from others, and then we can see if it works for us, and then mold it to how it fits us, and what's good for us, and then we'll decide if we want to do it, and we'll see. But yeah, I think
Strategic.
IBTTA and our peers and great.
Yeah.
It's a great service.
Very strategic. I love it. But we love IBTTA. We can't wait to see everyone at the Tech Summit. Mojo's going to be there. Tool Talk's going to be there. So we have just a couple minutes left. So we have a few more questions for you. But I guess as you look ahead, what excites you the most about the future of KTA?
Well, I think what we've done here, Cashless tolling has put us in a position from the bottom up in a position to be able to do more in the future, upgrading our technology, upgrading our efforts. I think we're ready to look to what we can expand to in the future. Number one, and I'll just let everybody know. So we are working with, and listen, we've been our own 236 miles for almost 70 years. We haven't ventured out of that. Our own system, but not ventured and expanded the system. Well, that's about to change. So we're working with KDOT, the DOT here in Kansas, and they want to do a managed lane in Overland Park, Kansas, and
very
a small
exciting.
stretch,
That is.
yeah, congestion lane, managed lane, and they don't have a toll department, so we're going to toll it for them. And so working directly with DOT, and that's going to open in January of 26. So we're right in the midst of, able to take our cashless tolling technology and able to implement that in the future of a managed lane in the Kansas City area. And really excited about that. So we're right in that. So, and we've not expanded before. And I think, again, our cashless tolling efforts and really upgrading our system from A to Z is allowing us to do more, be a better partner, help more people in Kansas. And I think what's really unique for Kansas is that Kansas is broadening out to be more broad when it comes to, hey, we can look at Kansas Turnpike to be a partner. We can offer tolling as an option for a cost share for other cities. A more broad brush of able to do more. So KDOT needs to be more innovative, and they want to be. We would love to expand, and we want to be, and this will allow us to do that. So again, I think this is a great partnership and development. So we finished one project, and we'll get to breathe here a little bit.
On to the next.
On to the next one. So
yeah. Seems like it's going to be a great collaboration.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. I'm really excited about that. So I think that's where our future is going. And then if that goes well, I think we could see more in Kansas. I think when other big cities want to expand into other additional lanes, or do we need to look at other toll lanes, other toll roads? I think we're ready to go. And I think being a better partner, helping more people, that's part of our goal. And I think now that our technology has been upgraded, we can do that. So I'm pretty excited about what our next steps are going to look like here in 26 with KDOT. And then where does it go from there? I don't know, but I think that the possibilities are unlimited.
Yeah, and I think you're going to do even greater things in the next 10 years of continuing to be the CEO. So that's exciting.
My hope, right? Let's screw this up and stick around 10 more years, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Any last words of wisdom or anything that you want to share about KTA yourself with our audience today?
Well, number one, I am humbled that I get to work for KTA, and I love being an ambassador, so I love telling our story. I think you can probably tell my excitement. I work with a great bunch of people, a great board who's supportive. I work for a state that supports what we do here in the Turnpike and supportive of our technology improvements. So I'm real humbled that what we're doing and how we're doing it, and it's affordable and better. And I just want to help people. It's been my mojo, no pun intended,
Love
right?
it.
Love it.
To really be a public servant, my entire career and able to help more. It's just really exciting. It's just a thrill for me. So I appreciate this opportunity to tell our story. Thank you for letting us do that.
Yeah.
We
And
love having you.
yeah, and you guys are already a great partner with us. And there's so many others that are out there that worked to help us and provided guidance. And so I'm very humbled that we have such great help. And I'm also really excited to talk about and tell our story. So thanks a
Yeah.
lot for that today.
Well, thank you for joining us. As one of our partners, we love working with you guys. And, Steve, it's great to hear you tell your story and talk about the impact that you've had as CEO and, what your team is doing. And, your passion is really just, it's electric and it's inspiring. So thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I know you're
I
busy
appreciate
and
it.
you got a lot on your plate, but I really appreciate it.
It was such
Yeah.
a fantastic opportunity to get to hear not only your story, but KTA's story and where you're going in the future from now to 2026. So I appreciate that. We also want to let our viewers at home know to like and subscribe and to follow us at Toll Talk.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. I had fun.